know there's a few of my friends that are still living with their parents, and we're pushing our mid to late 30s now.
Among the most common sexual sins, pregnancy and abortion, all ugly sins, but in and of themselves, they're pernicious evils.
When this power begins to form, it might be likened to having a little factory in your body.
Democrat rhetoric, calling our ICE officers, calling our Border Patrol Nazis and Gestapos and fascists, demanding as they do that ICE leave their communities, this nullificationist rhetoric, all of which inspires and incites these domestic terror attacks against law enforcement. So we really are at a hinge point here for the West.
This hinge point of history.
America first.
Travis Wingoodsall. I'm bored. I've done over 8.8K videos warning Mormons, warning of what is to come, and then they come, and I do the videos on the fulfillment of my predictions of the future, predictions of human behavior, and what's going to happen as a consequence. And just 8.8K videos, and I'm bored. I'm repeating the same stuff over and 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 over, and Mormons refuse to believe. They don't care that they're in the great and abominable church of Lucifer. They just lie and deny and get angry at me when they're the ones who are lying and denying, which is Lucifer's plan of happiness. So, what is the number one commandment? The very first one. Yes, it has to do with love, but what is the first one? Christians turned all of the Jewish prophecies into literal histories, and so now supernatural stuff are real because it says so in the Bible. 1,700 years ago, right now. We've got 1 billion people, 4 billion on the earth now because of that 1,700 years ago abomination, turning supernatural stuff into literal histories. And some didn't even make it in because they were too supernatural. Nonetheless, it's in Genesis. It's the beginning of the book because it was put in chronological order. Verse 28. And if you have no clue what it means to be fruitful, multiply, and replenish, or also fill, it's because of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and the big news yesterday. The number one commandment by God is to man have sex. Real simple, not complicated, and yet Christianity created 1,700 years ago, right now. sex is of the devil. Nudity is porn. It's so sacred, it's porn. I quit. I quit. If people cannot recognize what a false dichotomy is, I quit. Seriously, there is no hope for Mormons, let alone mankind. You're all gonna burn. Then you're gonna complain that you're burning. How did this happen? I don't like these consequences. So, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints tells all children no sex, no masturbation, no thoughts, no feelings, no nothing. But you are required to pay the church in advance of going to the temple. Because in the church, Christianity doesn't have prostitution. When you want to get married, you tell your pastor, and he thanks you for letting Jesus into your life for your wedding. And then the Catholic ceremonies that I've been to, the father of the bride is the one who comes with a chest, and it's the Catholic services, and he hands it to the pastor right before the wedding. That's the payment for the wedding. The United States of America allows religious freedom and allows priestcraft, despite the Book of Mormon saying no priestcraft, but nonetheless the United States allows it. And so it's for the services for the wedding. So it's not prostitution. That's different. Prostitution is for having sex. Paying for sex. So the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints goes to the extreme and says, you have to pay us not to have sex. Not even masturbation. You can't even think about it, can't even feel. When your time comes, that's a sin. You cannot do it. I've gone over with the little factory, I've gone over with my history, I've gone over with the Strength of the Youth revised version. And so the church keeps telling you over and over and over and over and over and over, you must get married in the temple. Thus, only to a Mormon girl, if you're a boy. Mormon boy, if you're a Mormon girl. That's pimping out Mormon girls for the boys, because the boys are supposed to get the jobs and pay. Women are supposed to get pregnant. Quit thinking about a career, mission, education. There's no reason for any of that. You're supposed to be pregnant. Heaven forbid if you do both, if you choose. God. And so yes, in this church, when you go to the temple, you don't bring a chest or have any kind of check for the temple sealer. It's all free, because we're a lay ministry. It's called screw over those who are a part of the religion, but the corporate board, it's a job. They've got to make a living somehow. Priestcraft. Just say it. Priestcraft. And so you're paying the church leaders to have sex with one of their Mormon girls. It's exactly the same pattern. And it got the chief of police fired. And Red, he now knows it too. And he's ignoring it. because he is guilty of it too. And Sister Homewrecker Mendenhall, however, she's a sinner. She stole another woman's man and family. Oh, but they got married. Yeah, well, what about the ex? What about her? Dear God. Just because the judge says, well, there's no law in the books for adultery. There is, actually. It's the amendments where it says life, liberty, property. She took away the life, liberty, and property of the ex. And thus, she should have been locked up in prison for the rest of her life for being a whore, homewrecker. It's a real simple thing. You know, the Book of Mormon talks about getting busted for adultery. And yet, everybody thinks that America, you can get away with adultery. And you can, and you do. But you're not supposed to if we're following the Constitution. It will not be allowed in Zion, but Mormons don't want it, so you don't need to worry about it. You want death. I choose death rather than Zion. And so this fear of idols, images, objects, vilifying an object, has resulted in a fear in Mormons, not just the payment for the actual porn called prostitution, translated correctly from the Greek. And that's why the prophets do not claim to be translators. They'll punish anybody who is. They'll even kill their mother, murder their mother. But Mormons just assume translation when it's not there. So Nelson gets up and he botches translation. I mean, gets revelation for the correct translation. Doesn't show his work. There's no way to figure it out. At least Joseph Smith showed his work, even though it was a half a sentence. But it was enough for me, and I figured it out. He is a translator. Everybody else is wrong. I've done those videos. I've shown Joseph's work. I've shown my work for translation. Nelson doesn't. You have to show the work. You can't just give out a translation of something and then say, oh, it's true, you have to feel it's true. James Strang did that. Who's James Strang? Exactly. You don't know church history. God. And then the guys with the Kinderhook plates also. Joseph put them in their place, and nobody but me and those who have watched those videos of mine know about it. Joseph outsmarted them. Hilarious. And nobody knows to this day how he outsmarted them. Everybody just assumes Joseph is a fraud. He got revelation. Which isn't revelation. You altered the definition. So, in the news, Utah has seen the lowest birth rate since the church ordered and paid for my disappearance, torture, unto death back in 2008. think they would have learned? Don't mess with me. There are consequences that you don't see coming. Because in that filing, petition for redress of grievances, which is illegal in the state of Utah, even though it's in the First Amendment, I also prophesied a warning. And boom, 2 weeks later, all hell breaks loose. Greece went bust. Had to be bailed out. And Mormons stopped breeding. And so, banning porn works. Mormons don't have sex. It's awful. They're torturing you guys, sexually abusing you with sex torture. That's all it is. Because if you were to actually have every Mormon compliant somehow to defy our natures, you'd still have, in fact, it'd even be larger. Because at least if you gave in, you'd have Mormons who would take responsibility for the consequences. As the one girl at BYU thought the BYU football player would do. But if all Mormons were abstinence only until marriage, no thinky, no feely, the singles wards would have to have a whole stake of singles wards in this valley alone. That's how bad it would get. And you're not running the test for consequences to see if the word is true or false. You just assume it's true, and then you fail, and so you say you're a sinner, and then you submit to the church's will as you continue to think you're scum. And then you go around as a weapon for Jesus, telling everybody else they're scum. You become a Karen, a false accuser, a beam motor. And along with the success of banning porn in Utah, stopping Mormons from having sex, because Benson said pregnancy is a pernicious evil. I've been doing that quote repeatedly. I guess we'll have to put it in here if I bother to remember. As a result, the consequences of banning porn is Sim Gill freeing you for rape, as long as you're a cop. 4 cops raped women, or one woman, I don't know. I didn't care to fully get involved. And Sim Gill let him go. I told you, Sim Gill lets all cops go. If you are in Sim Gill's district, you can do whatever you want. You rule as a cop. Sim Gill will, without fail, let you go. If you're in another area, they'll lock you up, as the other guy is. He didn't have Sim Gill to back him up. So, there it is, and that's why I'll have either one or the other, or both, of put the X in sex and boom, boom, boom in the description below. Like and subscribe. YouTube has never bothered to let creators know they've rigged the algorithms so that no longer works. I still see new people. And still see older people who have been on YouTube creating videos forever, and they still have the pop-up on their screen. There's a new way to get lots of views. And I refuse to do it. So, the Trumpite stuff. For those of you who've been following, you've heard me say, pay attention to the words of Stephen Miller when he gets interviewed on Fox. And what have I been telling you about the truthfulness of the Book of Mormon as prophecy, not literal history? And about 3rd Nephi, chapter 7. Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? Bueller? And the people were divided one against another, and they did separate one from another, and thus they did destroy the government of the land. National divorce. Right there in the Book of Mormon, warning us. Even if you still think this is literal history, then you still know about Benson saying that this is a parallel with the latter days. So that you see this, oh, it happened to them, it's going to happen to us because Benson says it's a parallel. Then you should be looking for the United States of America being divided one against another with a false dichotomy of deep state Dems versus MAGA. And a national divorce. And you still don't believe. And so, Stephen Miller, interviewed by Fox, yet again, says that what we are witnessing is the secessionist movement. I just repeated that video the other day over the weekend. That in 2021, after Trump he refuses to concede, still to this day. He technically is on his 3rd term. In his mind, triggered the deep state Dems about, I'm thinking about a 3rd term. No, it's illegal, it's unconstitutional. Are we at a constitutional crisis yet? Oh, dear God, he loves to mess with deep state. And so, yes, Stephen Miller is saying that as 2021 was supposed to be MAGA saying Biden is not our president and forming a coup, and if Biden still got put in as he did, that MAGA, under Marjorie Taylor Greene's leadership, would have caused a national divorce. And only Texas obeyed. Only Texas did it. They did their own thing the whole time. Giving the middle finger to Biden. Every other MAGA state, including Utah, didn't. They didn't go their own way. They didn't divorce from the United States of America, insisting that Trump is to be the president. That was the whole test run that Oaks was talking about. And so, the test run is over. This is not a test anymore, so said Oaks. And so this year, for last election, AI was one of the ways for Trump to rig the election. And it worked. And everybody is investing in AI now. And you're about to see the consequences. Well, you're already seeing the consequences. Everybody just doesn't care. nonetheless, the Democrats, they are being attacked by Trump. We are in a civil war. When Trump sends the military into America, we're at war. When he sends ICE and he's locking up citizens, deporting citizens, arresting citizens, not just those who commit crimes. We're at war. He's trying to trigger Democrats to do it this time because he is in the presidency. But if Harris somehow actually did win because AI failed, then yes, again, MAGA would be infuriated, and as Trump said, there would be a bloodbath. Civil war. A national divorce. Right there in the Book of Mormon, and Oakes confirmed that that's what was going to happen. You didn't believe. There's over 100,000 who have seen Sister Jessica's leak of Oakes' quote talk from President Marquis, new in Australia in 2020, before it all hit the fan. And you're not believing me? Dear God. So yes, Stephen Miller revealed that that is the plan, to force Democrats to say, we're out. We don't want to be a part of Trump's America. We secede from the nation. And then Trump will declare war. That's Stephen Miller, Fox News yesterday. So, Trump is now provoking Putin because everybody else is failing. Iran failed. What the hell? They were the latest ones that Trump was trying to provoke to have the sleeper cells in America rise up and cause a 9/11. They failed. They caved. They were destroyed. And now they're trying to rebuild, but it's too late now. You failed. So now Trump is going on to Putin. We all know Trump still wants a Trump Tower, Moscow. That hasn't ended. So he's purposely doing something to have the Russian sleeper cells. And we have a lot of them here in Utah. Should we check? Should we check? Maybe I'm not going to be cyber terrorized. That would be nice. So far, it's been 26 minutes. God. See, I'm bored. I want to get to Zion. All of these delays. I'm bored. You're not allowing my talents and gifts to blossom. Population of Russians in Utah. Zip Atlas. Utah State demographics data. That's a little more official. Except they don't describe. Here we go. Russia. Really? 2,351 at 0.8%? Yeah, Utah. Wow. It's the migrationpolicy.org site. The Migration Policy Institute. And it's 2023. So yeah, I was right. The Russians that were contacting me on YouTube back in 2017 and saying, I can't wait till I'm called home. They admit they're sleeper cells. Because if you've forgotten, the Americans, based on 1980s scandal of exposing the Russian sleeper cells in America under Reagan, some of the close calls that occurred back then, they're still here. Unless you forget Maria Butina. I'd rather be dead than pass on a red. You're going to be both. Das vidanya. So yes, it's now Putin's turn to attack America. And he's meeting with Kim Jong-un. And so very likely he's saying, hey, you want an opportunity to bomb America? Yes, yes, please. Yes, please. I can show my daughter how it's done. Yes, please. Okay. So send us some more troops and we'll send you some more missiles. Hey, Trump, I have Christmas gift for you early. He never did do it back then. Ended up being something else. And so now the Justice Department is firing everybody who worked on Trump cases. After the State Department on Friday, now it's the Justice Department for Monday. So we'll see who else is today. He's going to do a purge. You know, there are people that are trying to sue. They're all getting shot down. But nonetheless. So now there's a talking Elmo that is racist and anti-Jewish. Elmo hates you. You can be my enemy. Which, if it wasn't for the porn in Utah, that would have been the thumbnail picture. Talking Elmo. Bleep, bleep, bleep. Get the censored or uncensored version today. Only 3 per Christmas. So choose wisely. STD Barbie or Talking Elmo. So one of the lawsuits, I warn, nobody listens. I'm bored. It's like in Groundhog Day. I even saw it in Pretender, where he knows all the answers and he's bored. Oh, yeah, penguins. It's easy. And so Utah is suing with 19 other states to return the funding. You're not getting it. You have the Book of Mormon, and you're not getting it. You got Stephen Miller telling you what's going on, and you're not getting it. You're not listening. But we don't have any illegal children in Utah. Yes, you do. Use Trump's definitions. I did the video with all the long list of All that Trump is getting rid of, purging from America. This is the purge. And so yes, the federal government is getting out of education. The public school systems are no longer to be public school systems. They are supposed to be corporations. And if they have franchise schools, great. Just like McDonald's for Trump. This is how his mind thinks. And so the medical profession and schools all are supposed to be corporations. And so it's going to cost money to go to a good school. It's going to cost money to go get good health care. You're not catching on yet? This is America that Trump is turning it into. And it's supposed to trigger the deep state Dems to say, no, we secede. And it's not happening. Everybody's resisting. You're not understanding. Resistance is futile. We are Magaborg. Just submit. There will be no Zion. And finally, to end it early, I just scream. I'm bored. Getting a headache from banging my head all the time. You're not listening. Nobody believes. 2020 and 2021. What was another of the patterns as a test run for right now? The drought. So here we go again. Water is being shut off. It has begun. You know, it's like porn. The drought of porn will solve the problem. Which I could use that one, Samantha Mumba. Love like a waterfall, flowing deep within. I quit. Seriously. God. And I can't go back to ancient languages and cultures because now I know that all of it is about the latter days. And Mormons don't want it. So now I have to figure out something else to do. And it might as well just be fashion. Just go back to my hobby. Screw everything else. Get the other desk built and assembled and set up my game computer and play Civilization 3 complete. Screw everybody. If you don't want Zion, God, bleeping believable.